Oops. Let's change the screen. There. So the theme for today is going to be the breath. And as you all know, you're meditators, the breath is very, very profound. Many meditations focus on the breath. And there's a reason, a lot of reasons for that. So you all know that breath is very important in Qigong too. And there are movements associated with different parts of the breath. So, just as we're doing this, if you also focus the attention on the breath, and then arrange the breath so that it repeats rhythmically, regularly with the movement. Now, you might want to count. You can let go of the counting, but for some people, counting is useful. So you would count for an in-breath and an out-breath, and then repeat. And then the breathing will coincide with the movement. So we're going to be breathing a little faster and a little deeper because we're moving than we will if we're in sitting meditation. So by focusing on the breath, we automatically are putting our attention internally, because we're feeling. We're feeling the breath in the nasal passages, throat, in the chest, the belly. So we're focusing on the breath, and that brings us into the interior of the body. And it brings us into the sense of touch, which, as you know, I've mentioned many times, the sense of touch is really the deepest sense. Because we can go right from the sensations of touch to the sensations of qi, so the sort of tingling and the heat. Okay, and so let's reduce the movement. But stay with the breath. The breath is going to slow down, right? And then we can notice the up and down. The in breath lifts us. The out breath we relax. So there's kind of a downward. Okay, staying with the breath, let's go and bow to the direction starting with the east. Okay, so sink the knees. In breath as the hands come up. Out breath as we fold the body. Okay, and pivot to south. And so in breath when the hands come up. And natural out breath because we're folding in the diaphragm. In breath. Out breath. Folding down. In breath. And out breath. North. Back to the front. Now we're going to go up. So we're going to sink down and then in breath going up. Out breath. And in breath. And then folding again, out breath. And then hanging, breathe naturally. And then coming back up. In breath coming up. And then out breath sort of finishes. Okay, now in this position, the in breath, now we can experience the expansion, the balloon-like inflation with the in breath, and then the releasing with the out breath. So the hands can move a little with the in breath and the out breath. So there's no up and down here, there's no folding, but there's the expansion and contraction. Okay, let's take a couple more breaths. And come back to standing one. And you may kind of naturally just take a deep in breath. So if we're going to then bring the attention down, we'll follow the out breath, down the body, down into the roots, down into the earth. In breath comes up, the middle. Out breath, we're elongating, going down. That sort of sends the roots out. The in breath happens, and then we're elongating the out breath. Okay. Okay, very good. So go ahead and break your stance if you want to. And then just loosening head and neck. Now here, when the head is folded down, it's an out breath. When it's back, it's an in breath. And then moving to the shoulders. So when the shoulders are back, it's an in breath. When the shoulders are rolled forward, it's an out breath. And if you're doing this faster, that's fine. And the breath kind of just gets lost in it. We're not focusing on it that much because the movement is taking our attention. And that's fine. We don't have to focus on the breath constantly. It's just that in this particular class, we're bringing attention, but especially to it. Okay. And then let's move down to the chest. Now this definitely is, this is for the lungs. So this is an in-breath. Folding down is an out-breath. Opening up is an in-breath. And if you let go just a little bit, if you can just let the breath do this, the breath is moving the body. And let's do a couple more. Okay, very good. And now rocking the pelvis. You can just be aware of the breath while doing this. Okay, good. And then circling. Now this is affecting the breath because it's loosening up the diaphragm. That's going to make the breath deeper, easier. Okay. Okay, and let's see how the breath figures into the balancing. So I'm going to bring the hands up. Now here we're normally going into visualizing that vertical line in the body, and so then we're going to sink to one side, and the line moves over the weighted foot. Then as we lift the other foot, and we can sink down a little bit with the out breath. Because remember, the in breath lifts us up, out breath drops us down a little. Okay, and then shifting over. So with the breath, if we like, we can use the eyes, use the mind, and sort of visualizing going up and down that central laser beam. So as we're visualizing that, it's not just a line, but so then with the out breath, we go down it. In breath, up. So it's kind of enlivening the axis. And of course it goes down into the earth, and that roots us. And it goes way up into the night sky. Okay, let's come back to center. And now let's go ahead and do a standing position 2. This is very much focused on the breath. The hands are opposite the lungs. Now here, with the out breath, we're going to allow the shoulders to release, kind of drop down. Every time we drop down, we go just a little deeper. And we relax a little more. So you may find your thighs are tight, your buttocks, maybe your lower back. So with the out breath, we go down. Then that's just a relaxing. Find any muscles that are flexed, and just relax. It's a sinking down, it's a letting go. Any thoughts about this are kind of way upstairs in the head. So we're dropping down into the body using the out breath. Okay, if your eyes can be looking down or closed, you can use the eyes to turn them around 180 degrees, looking in. And in breath, the eyes go up. Out breath, they go down. And you may notice the tingling, you may notice heat. Okay, just a couple more breaths. Okay. Okay, very good. And let's follow the breath now with tree and spring. We'll do the backwash. Follow the breath with that too. Let's do 3 of those. So in breath, so we're bringing our attention way up to the top. And then as we start to fold down, we're just breathing naturally. And we continue to breathe naturally the whole time, even when we're bent over. And then we want to start back up on an in-breath. And then continue to breathe naturally. And then we're going to bring the hands up on an in-breath. Look up, extend, and breathe naturally. And then we're going to be going down on the out-breath. Put the mind where the fingers are pointing. And put the eyes where the fingers are pointing. And one more. Just feel this going up the spine. Out, extend. Out, breath, down. Okay, let's do a couple more. We're going to begin with an out breath. Start coming up on the in-breath. Start moving the hands on the in-breath. Okay. And then back to the top of the head. Out breath, down. And then come back up on an in-breath. Start the hands on an in-breath. And then start coming down on an out-breath. Okay, let's go ahead and go into our sitting practice. So as we're getting comfortable sitting, let's just rock forward and backward. Now we know that if we rock forward, we're bending at the abdomen or back bending at the waist. So that'll be an out breath. When we lean back, it's an in breath. Okay, out breath, we're looking down. In breath, we're looking up. Or I should say the head is tilting down. With the out breath, the head is tilting back with the in breath. Okay, let's reduce the movement, but keep the breath the same. Okay, and now let's circle the torso. So as we circle forward, that's an out breath. So we circle back, in breath. Okay, we're not preparing for meditation, we are doing meditation. Okay, and let's reduce the movement. Now, as the movement reduces, we get smaller and smaller. We come into, we approach, we kind of circle around and approach this vertical axis, and we come into stillness. Now here, we can check the posture. Shoulders are back just a teeny bit. Chin is dropped just a little bit. Check the posture, and that implies that vertical line. Now we can do the microcosmic orbit with the eyes. So in-breath begins with the eyes looking down at the perineum inside the body. In-breath, the eyes look up the inside of the spine. Out-breath, the eyes look down the inside front of the body. Now we can slow it by half. So in-breath, going up, then out-breath. So a pair of breaths going up, a pair of breaths going down. So we're going up with the in-breath, we're also going up with the out-breath. We're going down with the out-breath, we're also going down with the in-breath. So here's where we're balancing yin and yang. So in-breath balances out-breath, but now in-breath contains out-breath, out-breath contains in-breath. So we can do this another way by doing up and down that vertical line. So we know in-breath we go up, at the same time we go down. And you can use the eyes to look down as you're going up. The in-breath carries us up, but the direction of the eyes carries us down at the same time. Now, so this is an intentional opposing. We're doing the opposite. So now with in-breath, we're still taking an in-breath, it's filling us up, lifting us up, but our intention's going down. And that's our eyes and our attention. In-breath, the attention goes down. Out breath, tension goes up. So we're going up and down at the same time. So the body is going up with the in-breath, down with the out-breath. The mind is doing the opposite. And they're in complete and perfect balance. This takes a little concentration. So we can move the eyes the opposite of the breath. And then as we get a little more used to this, the breath becomes a little lighter. It's not so hard now to concentrate on the opposite. And let the breath get easier. So there's just this gentle uplift and dropping down at the same time. But it's just gentle, it's more subtle. Now let's reduce the breath, make it more subtle. The mind now becomes more still. And let's come into the middle of the chest, into the heart. Now let's do that with expansion. So with the in-breath, the body expands. The out-breath relaxes. But now we're going to do the opposite. So when we breathe out, we're going to, with the mind, expand outward in all directions. When we breathe in, we're going to compress. Now you can use breathing the stars here, if you like. So with the in-breath, stars rush in as the body expands. With the out-breath, stars rush out as the body relaxes. The eyes are neutral. And now let this reduce. Let the breath be more subtle. So the in-rushing and out-rushing are much more gentle. Now let's let go of in and out, expand and contract. Let's let go of all the opposites. And just be this quiet center where there's stillness. All of this is going on all around, and there's a still point. It may be in the body, it may be in the chest or belly, it may be the body, it may be around the body, it may be a vast stillness that contains all this movement. And so the stillness is what is aware of all the opposites that are arising and passing away moment to moment. And the body is in the center of this awareness. And it's very porous. It's kind of cloud-like. That's the tingling in the body. You just stay with this. Now, the mind may drop into in and out or expansion. It may drop into that's fine. And the awareness is non-local. Right? We can bring the attention somewhere in the body. We can bring the attention to any place with our intention, with our mindfulness, and that will concentrate the attention, or just letting go of that. And just becoming one with this stillness, out of which all the movement arises. Okay, and of course, this is dynamic. So if you may come back into moving the body. You may come back into any of the steps that we took to get there. Moving the eyes, doing the breath. That's all of that that's part of the practice. Eventually, though, it will all let go. Into this sort of energetic stillness. The in-breath is made up of this energy, so is the out-breath. So is the body, so is the mind. And all of that is not separate from all that is. So this awareness is timeless and creates space. It's beyond space. So thoughts cannot appear in that environment. So if thoughts appear, that's okay, and then just go into the body a little, they'll disappear then. You can go into movement a little bit, or breath, any of these stages. So use your mindfulness and just adjust to whatever is happening for you in this meditation, and respond to it. Maybe if your body's getting stiff or your posture's sagging. And then you can come back, you can return to that boundless stillness. Okay, now within this boundless stillness, there's in-breath and out-breath, right? So the boundless stillness is there, but it's not empty. So there's in-breath, out-breath, there's body, mind, there's up, down, left, right, in, out. There's all these things exist within this boundlessness. So they're all part of it. It also includes everything that's happening in the world in this moment. You could say it's not empty, it's vastly full. That everything that's unfolding everywhere in this moment is part of this boundlessness. So the 10,000 things, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, ill fortune, ill repute, good repute. All of this is coming and going so fast that it just appears to be this sort of white noise. And this consciousness is just little flashes of lightning in this vast night sky. You can check in how the sensations in the body. How is the body responding to this? And the body too is a momentary construct. Okay, so navigate this territory here as you need to. If you're losing your posture, then readjust. If the mind begins thinking, then move to do it. You want to navigate this territory skillfully. There's no goal here. Okay, so let's prepare to come back to doing some standing and some movement. We'll begin just sort of slowly moving the body a little bit. This is not separate from boundlessness meditation. We're just putting attention into the body, that's all. Get loose. And maybe do some sort of a little rocking to come back really into awareness of the breath. Because when you fold forward, it goes, the breath goes out. Okay. Okay. And as you're ready, let's just finish with standing. And just feeling the breath. And we'll be doing the flying crane. So the in-breath lifts the arms. And then do whatever rhythm you need. One breath, two breaths, whatever. And then you go down on the out breath. Let's reduce the movements. Okay, thank you for your practice. And let's clap our hands one time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So if you would like to slide away, please do that. And if you want to stay for questions and comments, I will stop the recording.